Hello guys, it's Melissa and welcome to another video where today I am building my first ever mid-century modern home. This is a style I really like, and I've seen a lot of YouTube videos of other people doing speed builds of mid-century modern homes, but it is not something that I have ever tried myself, so I set myself the challenge to try it. So just a disclaimer, I'm not saying that this is 100% true to mid-century modern style. I didn't even really know that much about it. I have done some research, as I often do whenever I do a certain style of build, to try and make it as accurate as possible, but I'm not an expert in it, so yeah, maybe some aspects of it aren't mid-century modern, but I tried my best and I was super happy with how it turned out. I've said before that I really like modern style anyway, so this is just like a little bit of a retro take on that, I guess. But yeah, I really like it. It's I think it's 3 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 baths. So I imagined parents and 1 child lived here. So it's quite big. It took me quite a while to make because I don't know, I don't think I intended it to be this big, but I played around with platforms a lot, so they did end up taking quite a bit of space. But you know, I used platforms in my last video where I recreated a real life house, if you haven't checked out that video already. And I struggled a lot. I don't know, I really struggle with platforms. I find them really difficult to use. I'm sure a lot of other people do as well, and I put myself through it again with this one, but I really like the style where I think it's kind of like a 70s style. It's definitely a retro thing where the sort of living space is, you kind of step down into it, so it's a slightly different level to the rest of the room. So you will see briefly there, I did do that for the living room, so you kind of step down and then that's where you've got the sort of sofas, the chair and the TV as well. And this isn't base game only. I have seen, so I've mentioned a few times on my channel Miss Griffy. I think she is my favourite build channel here on YouTube for The Sims 4, and she does a lot of base game builds for sort of mid-century modern homes, because actually they do have quite a few sort of items like that in the base game, but Get Famous is probably the pack that represents this style the best. There is some really cool furniture in that pack, and it is like the personification of mid-century modern furniture. So I used a lot of that throughout the build, you will see. But yeah, I think I built it in Oasis Springs because I think that is the world that most lends itself to this style. I don't know what it is, and maybe that's why there's a lot of kind of suitable stuff in the base game, and especially in the debug catalogue as well. I don't know, there's just something about Oasis Springs. It really feels like this home blends in really well there. And for the landscaping, which you will see coming up soon, I did use almost exclusively debug landscaping as well, which I'm really getting into. I've always said that landscaping is one of my least favorite things. Landscaping and roofing, I really struggle with, and it's still the same. That's not changed. I did cut out a lot of kind of fiddling with the roof because this is a really awkward shape of a build. So yeah, the roofing was a little bit complicated, but I got there in the end. But yeah, the landscaping, I've never been a huge fan of, because I do find it fun. Don't get me wrong, but I do find also that it just never quite looks right. But I think that's probably being overcritical, or sometimes, I don't know, when you spend a lot of time on something, you, I guess, don't appreciate it. I don't know. I hope you sort of understand what I'm saying there, but yeah, sometimes you think something doesn't look good, but if you look back and sort of step back and have a look at it again, it doesn't look too bad, or at least as bad as you thought. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is recently I feel like a lot more confident in my landscaping. I've been trying some new things, and actually going through the debug catalogue has really helped with that. Just having a few more kind of options, different unique sort of things to do, things to use, some different plants and things like that. And actually in the base game debug catalogue, there's these grass pieces. So you've got like squares and circles and ovals and things like that. So I do end up using a few of those, I think. And here you can see I'm doing a little bit of an interesting structure at the front of the house. Maybe it doesn't look good, maybe it does, I'm not quite sure. But the thing was, I really just wanted to basically have fun with this house, experiment. Again, I've not done something like this before, so I just kind of wanted to go all out and just try different things. And with modern style, I know this is mid-century modern, but I just think in general with modern, it's cool. It's like fine to experiment. So I played around with like different textures and little bump outs, and you can see when I put the wallpaper on, I used quite a few different pieces of wallpaper. And then at the beginning there, you've got, I've got a little driveway there, so that's what that little space is going to be for. I used a mixture of like paneling and stone, and then also fencing and wall pieces, all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, it was very experimental. Like I say, I liked it. Maybe, you know, some people wouldn't, but I don't really mind. It's, you know, for my first attempt, I was quite pleased with it. And I say I really, really like this style. I've actually recently was looking at like real life pieces of mid-century modern furniture, and it looks really, really cool. I found this like bar like table, so like drinks sort of cabinet, I guess, with like Marilyn Monroe's face on it, and it just looked really cool. Like it has that really like nice 70s retro vibe. I really like that style. I was very, very tempted. If anyone lives in the UK, I don't know if it's a UK only website, but Not on the High Street has some really cool mid-century modern furniture. I found this like retro vinyl player, which I was so tempted by, but then I'd have to start buying vinyl records and they are really expensive, so I don't know. But yeah, there's some really, really cool pieces, and it made me like just want to own a really like retro mid-century modern home. I really, really like the style. There's so many different like styles of interior design that I always think when I have my own house, I don't know how I'm gonna settle on one particular design to do, but yeah, anyway, I have discovered a brand new style that I really, really like. And then in The Sims, it's really fun to build as well. So yeah, I mean, maybe one day I could have a mid-century modern home. Probably not. I feel like it's a big commitment. Like it is very retro, you know, it is quite a bold look, and I don't know whether it's something where you can have like a few pieces here and there, or if you have to like fully commit to a mid-century modern retro home. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, that's definitely one for me to look into. I just really liked doing it and like researching it for this video. So yeah, you can see the landscaping is really sort of taking place now. Again, like I say, I used a lot of debug stuff, and this is the first time I've ever seen that kind of not like straight rectangular hedge, so it's like quite angled. I've never seen it before, but it is absolutely perfect for what I wanted to do. So I used a mixture of plants that kind of represent that mid-century modern feel, but also the one that kind of represents the environment we're in. So because it's Oasis Springs, a lot of like cactus, these like Monstera plants, aloe vera, I think. No, not aloe vera. Is it agave? Stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, those kind of plants that you typically would find in a place like Oasis Springs. That's what I went for. And then I'm just putting the terrain paint down. I do end up adding, which you'll see in a second, a pool to this little space that you can see here, just to give something a little bit different to the outside. So I didn't add like a barbecue or seating or anything outside, so I wanted to have like some kind of activity. And like I say, this style just really like is cool to me, like 70s retro cool. That's just, you know, what I think of. So I thought, yeah, the person probably has a pool. So I put the little pool lounger as well out there, so your Sims can relax out there. And yeah, at night as well, I just wanted to make sure it was really well lit, and also play test it as well, because you can find this build on the gallery if you do want to download it. My origin ID is MaddieJ1996. I always put it in the description of every video if you want to check it out. But yeah, like I say, it is 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. It's not a starter home by any means, but I really, really like the style, and I think it would actually be quite a fun build to play in, to be honest. I think, you know, usually, I've said before, I do have a bit of a habit of when I make builds to make them only 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. So I really wanted to make it a little bit more of a family space. And also, yeah, I did really try to kind of consider the style. So you can see I'm putting in the wallpaper here. I don't know. I mean, there's some wallpapers that I think are really mid-century modern, and the rest I just kind of went with what I wanted to. So I think the tiling that I used in the bathroom and the kitchen is like really kind of representative of the style, I like to think, but everything else I'm not 100% sure. But you can see I've got a kind of like kitchen leading into the dining room. When I was doing the floor plan, that was a little bit of a struggle because I couldn't really figure out where the dining room would go. And then basically I'd sort of figured out the shape, both downstairs and upstairs, but I just couldn't, like, there was no room for a dining room. I was going to put it like in the kitchen, but I just didn't think that there was going to be enough space. And to be honest, there probably wouldn't have been. So I did have to build an extra room. But that meant that upstairs I would have to build an extra room. So I actually decided to make this a mid-century modern home for a musician. So the room above the dining room is actually a musician's, I want to say studio, but just a place with lots of instruments. So there's a piano, a keyboard, there's like 2 guitars and 2 violins as well. So I imagine that this is a very musical household, and I thought there could be some cool kind of stories that go along with that. So perhaps the child like wants to follow in the parents' footsteps, or perhaps they don't and they want to kind of pursue their own path. But yeah, I just imagine that the parents of the house are very, very musical, but the kids could be too. So one of the violins that I put in that room was a child's violin. So there is definitely some activities for children as well. And then here you can see the living space that I was talking about earlier that is on a slightly different level. I really like this. I think I have done it once before. Obviously not in mid-century style, but I don't know, I just really, really like it. And I love looking at pictures of houses from the 70s. In real life, I know a lot of properties that are kind of from the 70s are just really like drab and not very nice, but some 70s properties were really, really cool. Like that really kind of, I don't know, just cool vibe that I hope I've captured in this build with some of the furniture. Like I say, the Get Famous pack really does this kind of stuff justice. It's like, it's perfect. So like I say, I was looking at like mid-century modern furniture in real life to actually buy. And a lot of it was very similar to what the Get Famous pack has. So yeah, this is one of the 3 bathrooms, but I didn't include the footage of the other 2 because as I'm sure a lot of people would agree, bathrooms are not that particularly interesting. So they were all relatively similar. The Get Famous pack has a sink that is in the mid-century modern style, but the bath, shower, I think, and the toilet that comes with that pack are all not mid-century modern. They are like really sort of fancy. So the thing is with the Get Famous pack, a lot of the furniture is mid-century modern, but also a lot of it is like famous style. So like really gold and garish and like rich people furniture. So a lot of the bathroom stuff is along that lines, like gold toilets with wings, that kind of thing. So I just put a few more basic pieces in there. But what you can see now is the kitchen pantry. This is not something that I usually do, but I've seen it done a few times and I thought it would be a really nice addition, especially because the kitchen is actually quite spacious, because originally I was thinking you could put a dining table in there. I don't think you could fit one, but there is definitely a little bit of space. So I thought it'd be really fun. And again, where I was using the debug catalog, I came across loads of really nice little clutter items, and sometimes when you put a lot of clutter items on the counters, it can just feel like a bit too messy. So I thought it would be really nice to put a little pantry with a shelf in there. So I've got a little like archway door that just leads into it. And yeah, I thought that was a nice little idea, and I definitely want to do that in my builds more often. I think it's also quite realistic as well. I mean, I don't have a pantry. I've never like known a house that does, but I think it's probably more common in America. I'm not sure. I mean, I know it does exist in England, but I think when I've seen like people I watch on YouTube, like in America, they often have pantries. So that's kind of what I was going for. But this is the rest of the kitchen, and this is the wallpaper that I was talking about. I think I saw some like mid-century modern wallpaper on, not on the high street, and it had that kind of like flowery tile pattern. So that's why I decided to use this one. I just think it goes really, really well. And then I also like that kind of open flow concept into the dining room, where I used Parenthood tiles as well, because I really like the colours. And I do think that they can kind of give off a little bit of a retro vibe. But you can see there that I have a bowl. So I also put a like dog toy like box thing in the garden. And then I also do put a dog bed in, I think it's in the dining room. So I do imagine that this family, the parents and the child, they also have a dog as well. I always love to play with pets in my own gameplay. So often when I build, I do try to kind of represent that as well, because I think it's really fun to have pets. I mean, they could also have a cat as well, but I didn't put any kind of cat themed items, but there definitely is room to put them in. And then just a little bit of clutter in the hallway. I thought I didn't actually make it too messy. I definitely think I could have done, but I do usually like those like little touches where if you have a child in the house, it probably is a little bit messy. So I put like the little basketball there. I mean, again, it's possible that perhaps the child doesn't necessarily want to take the musical route. I thought that was quite a cool idea. But speaking of which, this is the musical room. So you can see lots of instruments in there. I thought it was kind of cool to make a studio space. I mean, it was kind of born out of necessity, this room. There is a few kind of like balcony areas in the house, and I thought I didn't really want to include another one. So I decided to make another room that would be a musical studio, and I'm really glad I did, because then it just adds a little bit more personality to the house and also the Sims that live here. So this is the main bedroom, and this is actually one of my favorite Get Famous pieces, that bed. I think it's really cute. I love the headboard. I think it's really unique, and then also that little side table as well. And you know, a lot of the sort of pieces within this pack, like just they work so well together. I think you could quite easily build like perhaps a smaller home with those pieces, and it would look really cool and coherent. But like I say, there are a few pieces in that pack that just do not fit. They're just really like rich, like say rich and garish sort of style. So oh well, the rest of the stuff is really, really cute. And I think, yes, this is the final room in the house, the child's bedroom. I didn't necessarily include too much like personality, but I did include this like Void Critters game that they could play, and I used a lot of kids' room furniture because I think it's really cute. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and this build. If you did, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!